لكن تحديت الظروف وخضتها وحدي صبورا مستعينا بالصلاة. كم مرة عصف الأنين بداخلي، كم مرة قد ذاق قلبي من أساه محن تمر، وكم كرهت مصابها.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. ما بعد. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. The blessed month of Ramadan is into its second week, 2024, subhanallah al-azim. And whilst we are continuing our series focusing on the inconsistencies of our charities, the lack of transparency, we also have to focus our discussion, which is connected to the fundraising mercenaries who support these charities, who have no shame and employ shoddy, deceptive, deceitful tactics. And one such mercenary is Yusuf Chambers, who is well known in the Dawah circles. But I always make a point when discussing matters of transparency is that the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commands us to be just. The deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has requested the believers to speak the truth even if it's against yourself. And whoever exploits pillars of Islam for their own financial greed and gain, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will expose you sooner rather than later. So what is a mercenary? A mercenary is a person who's interested only in the amount of money that you can get from a situation. And also there's other related words and phrases, greedy, some words I can't even pronounce here to be honest, but you get the gist. About a few years ago, taqriban, Yusuf Chambers, being the mercenary that he is, was fundraising for a campaign in Somalia. Okay, keywords in Somalia. Just put that in brackets for now. And he went to Kenya, and the brothers on the ground in Kenya, who have a charitable organization, supported Yusuf Chambers in providing him the necessary packs and the villages that he was intending to visit. It was this brother that accompanied Yusuf Chambers, or rather took Yusuf Chambers in his own vehicle. This brother reached out to me and was absolutely disgusted with his deceptive, shoddy tactics, lies and deception. And I will get into the video to show you such outright deception. And this brother, by the way, or brothers, are first-hand witnesses. So if you're talking from the angle of shara, right? I've spoken to muftis and they have confirmed that the brothers on the ground in Kenya are classified as first-hand witnesses. We're talking about first-hand witnesses that they heard, saw whilst they were with him, and they can testify. Okay? They can testify. So Yusuf Chambers travelled with this brother in their car, and I'm going to show you all the videos implicating Yusuf Chambers, but I want Yusuf Chambers to confirm or deny these allegations that have been put forward, because the brother is more than willing to discuss this and testify against Yusuf Chambers. So where do I start? First of all, let's watch this.
Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. I'm live with our brothers and sisters from Somalia here in Africa. Alhamdulillah, as you can see, we've arrived after 2.5 days of traveling. Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. I'm live with our brothers and sisters from Somalia here in Africa. Alhamdulillah, as you can see, we've arrived after 2.5 days of traveling.
You heard Yusuf Chambers mention that it took 2.5 days to arrive. You know who these brothers are that organized your food pack? As he mentioned, I organized for him in Garissa, the villages and the food packs, as this is my work on the ground. From Nairobi to Garissa is 5 hours. So why did you say it took you 2.5 days to arrive when it indeed took you 5 hours? This is the shoddy tactics and the marketing scheme and strategies that these charities employ, especially Yusuf Chambers, and there's many more. And again, we want him to confirm or deny these claims, because the brother, when he spoke to me directly, and the other people involved, they were disgusted with the way you were behaving, and we're going to get to that. So I'd like to ask, did it take you 2.5 days to get to Garissa or not? Because the brother's more than willing to take an oath by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and I've spoken to him at length. Think about this for a second, Yusuf Chambers. There's many more. I'm just honing on this point for a second. That in order for you to raise funds, I'm going to get to the currency exchange for the packs, £90 a pack, and Lido Foundation. We're going to get to the Charity Commission. So everything will be covered comprehensively. Why employ these tactics? And I've been speaking to many brothers in the charity sector, and they know the tactics that you employ, especially with the current employers that you work with now. So, did it take you 2.5 days, or did it take you 5 hours? Please let us know. Let's continue on with the video.
And action. Many of the people behind me, the sisters behind me, have walked 10, 15 kilometers just to come and collect our Ramadan food pack. When they heard Lido Foundation was on the ground delivering these food packs, they came from every village, walking and, riding, and they took extreme, energy for them to come here, because food is very important. There's massive food scarcity in Somalia. 6 million plus are really struggling with food scarcity, brothers and sisters.
You heard action in the background. But anyway, he mentioned that when they heard Lido Foundation was on the ground, they came from 10 to 15 kilometers, coming from here and here and here. The brother said, that's absolutely not true. They were already villagers living in Garissa, and he took him to 2 villages, in fact. And also, you notice he mentioned in Somalia. So, and I have to add, the charity he was working for was Lido Foundation. We're going to get to the Charities Commission, and they were also known as Somalia Aid. To clarify, you said in Somalia. So from your words and your testimony, you are putting into the minds of the viewers that you're in Somalia, but you wasn't. You was in Garissa in Kenya, which is in northern Kenya. And even when you were at the airport, before you even got to Kenya, you kept mentioning Somalia.
Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. I'm back at the airport, and as you know, when I'm back at the airport, I'm going to support another group of vulnerable, needy people, and they are the people of Somalia. We're going to be feeding the brothers and sisters in time for Ramadan in Somalia. Subhanallah, they're desperate for your support. They don't have food to start their fast and break their fast. So we need to provide food packs, £90 for 3 entire families. That's up to 15 people that are going to be making dua for you, because you are...
Now, if you're indirectly saying, no, but I mean Somalians, no, because you said in Somalia, and you mentioned Somalia many times, putting in the minds of the viewers that you're in Somalia, when in fact you're in Kenya, in northern Garissa. So I like to add, the brother who took you to this location categorically denies your claims that they came from 15 kilometers from all over when they heard Lido Foundation, because it was him that organized the food pack. You used his charity or his organization, and he outright refutes your claims. You know who I'm talking about, right? You know who I'm talking about, who took you, who picked you up from Nairobi when you were communicating with a few of the brothers from Nairobi. We're going to show you the car as well, the white car that you went in. And I'll read something out to you, just for you, Yusuf, okay? Brothers who communicated with me, you know who they are, Yusuf Chambers. You know exactly who they are. And he's willing to have this discussion with you, by the way. He mentioned, I am the one who prepared these parcels plus organized this program, not Lido Foundation. This brother, or brothers, you know what I'm talking about, the ones that collected you from Nairobi. And he mentioned, and a really bad part was a woman has a husband and a kid. Then you gave her some money just to say she's a widow and she's struggling. And you mentioned that numerous times in your video, that they're widows, but they had husbands and kids. Give you some information that only you would know and the brothers in Kenya would know, that he gave me the name of the cameraman, Carlos. Does that ring a bell? Does that ring a bell at all? The cameraman's name was Carlos, wasn't it? Took him to 2 villages who were needy, but not orphans or widows. So, I'm going to play a clip now where Yusuf Chambers keeps referring to them as widows. Have a watch.
And these are all sisters. They are widows, subhanallah, that have fled difficulties and trauma that you and I can only imagine in our minds. Subhanallah. So we're going to be doing some food distribution to this camp of around 200 families. Alhamdulillah, today we've managed to get about 130 food packs in this location. So all of these sisters, these, as I say, widows and orphans in this camp are lined up, waiting for your sadaqah, waiting for your zakah to arrive so that they can prepare for the month of Ramadan. And that was the purpose of us coming here before Ramadan, to prepare our brothers and sisters to do their fast in the daylight hours of the month of Ramadan, which is only 14 days away. So brothers and sisters, this is some of our children. I've been interacting with them and talking to them. Some of them, they've been reciting the Quran for me. Assalamu alaikum. Kifek. Assalamu alaikum. Good. Kwais. Good. Alhamdulillah. Assalamu alaikum. And some of these children are badly in need. There's extreme drought conditions in this area here. The riverbeds are all completely dried up. And brothers and sisters, if I was to say to you, they're in need, it's an understatement.
You know they weren't widows or orphans, Yusuf. You kept using the word widows, yatim. They weren't widows or orphans, right? Is that true? Would you like to come forward and confirm that? 2 years ago or 3 years ago this was, and look, it's coming out now, isn't it? How do I know about this? How do I know about this? They contacted me directly.
So, oops. So we just came by and this cow cried out when they saw the water tanker, and they drank the whole bottle. The whole bucket was gone. As you can see, again, another bucket is coming. And believe me, this is one of the lucky few cows around here that's drinking water.
You know that white car in the background where the cow was drinking water? That was the white car you came in from Nairobi, wasn't it? To Garissa, right? Did you actually deliver any food packs in Somalia? And according to the brother, and again, I want you to confirm or deny these claims by the brothers who are witnesses to your behavior. You were claiming that you traveled up to 2.5 days. That wasn't true. You also said that these sisters came from 15 kilometers and they knew when Lido Foundation was here. That's not true. They were already residents. You also mentioned that they were widows and they were orphans. You went to 2 villages and they weren't widows or orphans. So, Yusuf, why are you employing deception, shoddy tactics? And what was in those packs anyway? Like, let's show when a video where you were distributing. And again, it's fair usage, mate. I've got the right to use this. But a mercenary like you ain't got no print.
Let me tell you about the people of Somalia. 5.6 million are food insecure. Conflicts, droughts, flooding, and COVID-19 have caused mayhem in their country, and they desperately need our support now. So brothers and sisters, what I'm doing is delivering aid to the most needy people of the Somali Ummah. Subhanallah, these donations you've been given, we're giving out, and Lido Foundation has been doing this throughout the year with the people of Somalia all over, right into deep into Somalia and on the borders of Somalia. Subhanallah, brothers and sisters, they urgently need your support for what? To prepare for the month of Ramadan. This food distribution that we're doing, and many others like it in the coming days, is purely to save lives and prepare them for the month of Ramadan. One of these packs I'm giving to this sister now, and this will be enough for her and her family, and they'll be making dua for you if you've given it a £30 donation for this food pack that will sustain them throughout the month of Ramadan and beyond, inshallah. So keep giving, brothers and sisters, so I can keep doing what I do best, which is delivering food to the most needy people around the globe with Lido Foundation.
What you do best, yeah. Mercenaries like you get paid, travel around the world, romanticize, add information which isn't entirely true. And once again, Yusuf, you've done it in Gaza as well when you mentioned that you were going on the border of Rafah and you've been delivering food in Rafah. Have a watch.
Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah. Brothers and sisters, I'm actually on the plane, Egypt airplane, on the way to the Rafah crossing to ensure that the 10 trucks are loaded successfully to travel to Gaza to feed the most needy, most oppressed people, probably, potentially, from this last century. That's all I can say. Feed our brothers and sisters who are in crisis. I'll be showing you some live videos of me on the border, giving out some aid, inshallah, making sure that aid reaches them in Gaza, inshallah, ensuring those lorries will get in, inshallah. Jazakumullah khair. Love you for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Click the link.
Call a spade for spade. If you were of a certain demographic, you would be traveling around the world the way you are, mate. Unfortunately, the Muslims see your demographic as a cash cow to a certain extent. Put you forward, it makes for good donations. Let's add that the question I'd like to ask is, you were raising funds for Lido Foundation. You had a t-shirt which said Somalia Aid. Now, just to clarify, it's not Somalian aid, it's Somalia aid. So you would have to raise funds in Somalia, right? Did you ever raise funds in Somalia? Did you ever visit Somalia? Because, and again, this needs to be substantiated, there's a common tactical ploy that you say you're in X country, but you're in Y country. And I'm waiting on more information. So in fact, I've got screenshots from a brother, but it's not substantiated evidence, that you were supposed to be in Yemen, but you were in Ethiopia. You were supposed to be in Afghanistan, but you were in Pakistan. And again, this needs proof. But according to some, this is known, that this tactic is common. So, to clarify, Somalia aid. Just to add more information from what the brother who has confirmed these details, that Garissa is 170 kilometers away from the border of Somalia. You mentioned the border of Somalia, that they operate, Lido Foundation operate in the border of Somalia. It was this brother's organization, and he did not know who Lido Foundation were. And again, I could have a discussion with you and these brothers from Kenya. So, do you confirm or deny these allegations? Lido Foundation weren't operating on the border between Kenya and Somalia. Were they even operating in Somalia in the first place? Yes, migration of Somalians into Kenya, that's where you went, with the help of the brothers who got in touch with me. And I got all their names, by the way, so it's not as if, I'm unaware of who they are. I've been speaking to them. How did I know about these details? So, you haven't left a good mark with them, brother. Your reputation is very, very poor. You left a very bad taste in the mouth with these brothers. You know what I'm talking about, right? Now, Lido Foundation, Somalia Aid. Who are they? Now, I've done some digging, and let's just say that there's things that we need to discuss. So, who are Lido Foundation. So who are Lido Foundation? Okay, let's read. So here you go. We got the Charity Commission, charity number 1170908. Pay attention to that. This is very important. And it mentions activities, how the charity spends its money. Let's see. The Lido Foundation provide the following service: information and advice. We provide advice on welfare, benefits, housing, debt, and application support to people from disadvantaged backgrounds. The service is open 3 days a week by signposting and advising residents. The Lido Foundation is reducing social exclusion instead of failing homeless or into other desperate circumstances. Right? To other circumstances. Now coming back to me. So Lido Foundation, according to the Charity Commission, has no details about their charitable activities outside the UK. They're just what we say, they provide advice on benefits and welfare and whatnot. So according to the Charity Commission, that's their scope. Okay. So how are they operating in Somalia, etc., etc. Let's go into the website of Somalia Aid now. So as you can see on screen, we've got who are we? Somalia Aid is the trading name of Lido Foundation, a UK charity 1170908 from the Charity Commission, as I just read. We at Somalia Aid deliver vital, life-saving humanitarian aid deep within Somalia. Keyword, deep within Somalia. So the video that you saw wasn't deep in Somalia, wasn't even close to Somalia. It was 170 kilometers away from Somalia, and it was in a place called Garissa. In where? Kenya. Okay? The charity has been working in Somalia since 2018 and delivers a number of programs such as emergency food parcels and access to water. Now, we've got here where the money goes. We are a UK-based charity that is regulated by the Charity Commission in the UK. Yes, but you're not regulated by the Charity Commission. We are a UK-based charity that is regulated by the Charity Commission in the UK. Yes, but for welfare, for debts, for giving support for those who are potentially going to be homeless. Like, that's your remit, according to the Charity Commission. Anyway, and all of our charity income is overseen by the UK government, and we publish our financial records every year to the public. You can rest assured your money is spent where it needs to be. Okay? So, come back to me now. So these are the claims made. So Somalia Aid is connected to Lido Foundation. We know per the Charity Commission, Lido Foundation support with welfare, support with support for homelessness, benefits, and whatnot. So, what's going on? Because the charity that was supporting you on the ground in Kenya, they're the one that organized everything, not Lido Foundation. So, why not just be open and frank about it? Because your remit, according to the Charity Commission, is just basic support in the UK for benefits. So let's carry on now. Let's go to the Charity Commission. So we've got their expenditure, right, as you can see on screen, right? And you can see their income from 2019 to 2023. Now, look at the grants that they've been getting. So you've got 40K in 2019, 68K, nearly 69K in 2020, 187K in 2021, 291K in 2022, and they've got, I think it's 75K in 2023. Now, if you look at the income, right, and the expenditure, so you've got total gross income 169,000. They spent 160. So as you can see, the income and expenditure, you can see there's discrepancies. There's a huge discrepancy in 2021, about 106,000 pound. Apart from 2022, where they overspent by £1,000 roughly, and all the other years there's been an underexpenditure, and they've got near enough how many 300, 400,000 income from the government, but they've clearly underspent, right? They've clearly underspent. So coming back to me now, so Lido Foundation. And I had some scholars, some Dawa champions, also raising funds for them. But they just UK-based, advice on welfare, benefits, housing, their application. And they were operating deep within Somalia. But Yusuf Chambers was in northern Kenya and nowhere near the border of Somalia. So the point here is, Yusuf, I will give you the opportunity now. I'll be honest with you, I can't trust you. Like, I believe, لا تقبل شهادة. And whoever lies, you know the hadith, that lying leads to fujur. والفجور يهدي إلى النار. That lying leads to the hellfire. لا يحل الكذب إلا في ثلاث, أو كما قال. That you are not allowed to lie except in 3 occasions. And we know the hadith. That you're allowed to lie to your wife, ليرضيها, والكذب في الحرب, lying in war, والكذب ليصلح بين الناس, أو كما قال, or to rectify between brothers. Why are you outright lying when you're campaigning for funds? And again, leave the pack, like £90, £30. The charity sector, with all due respect, is run by capitalist mafias, and unfortunately the da'wah scene as well have been sucked in because it's easy, isn't it? Wallahi alhamdu minna. I'm independent. I own my own wealth. I work 5 days a week. And subhanallah azim, I would never ever ever exploit anyone's circumstances across the world, especially the ummah's causes. But yeah, this man travels around the world, gets paid for it. He's a mercenary. He's currently working for another charity right now with absolutely cringy videos. Like, for example, where he's lying in a kafan, considering the circumstances in Gaza right now, where we've seen our atfal, being martyred, and the white kafan, and he's lying there requesting money, like insensitive to the core. But that's what it is with these mercenaries. To be fair, it just really puts his character into the limelight, doesn't it? Using these marketing strategies to raise money where our atfal are getting martyred and they're in those white kafans. Like, how did you even think that this would be acceptable? I'm just curious. And once again, there are other complaints as well. I'm just gathering the information, and I don't care who contacts me. At the end of the day, you could have this inferiority complexity to, a certain demographic, because donations will come from a certain demographic. You know that as well. So play dumb all you want. These sort of tactics are unacceptable. Whoever deceives is not from us. Lying is not permissible, only in 3 certain circumstances. These videos are important because we, as an ummah, need to know what is happening with our wealth. I find the charitable sector is full of individuals who really need a CRB check, in my opinion, like from a Shari'i perspective. But again, people are gullible, aren't they? They're going to see a certain demographic requesting donations and then it's going to flock. Even like with Penny Appeal, how many times they've been caught out with scandals. Human Appeal, like they were investigating the Charity Commission. I'll just put the report up, just a brief of it. They were caught with mismanagement and shoddy practices. So don't be surprised if your favourite charity is also involved in such activities. To be honest, if you were to ask my opinion, certainly puts the adala into question. But this is why we record these videos, to warn the ummah and to highlight that you need to be more careful and carry out due diligence when it comes to parting with your money, especially when you're giving to these charities, especially following this capitalistic framework. But anyway, Yusuf, confirm or deny these allegations because they are very serious. And as I said before, there is a pattern. But we'll wait to hear from you. And anyone else from the da'wah scene that wants to contact me and say, well, Haji, this is unwise. No, it's not. You've been getting away with it for far too long. And it's about time someone puts the microscope under you and your activities and your work. So take care of yourselves. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.
ليس الغريب غريب الشام واليمن إن الغريب غريب اللحد والكفن إن الغريب له حق لغربته على المقيمين في الأوطان والسكن سفر بعيد وزاد لن يبلغني وقوتي ضعفت والموت يطلبني ما أحلم الله عني حيث أمهلني وقد تماديت في ذنبي ويسترني تمر ساعة